So this part is going to be about rad cradle, speaker deck, kind of those types of things. So I'm just going to jump right into it. Now caddies have a weird rad support. So I'm going to show you more how a generic rad support I would build one and how I'm going to build one for the caddy. As you can see, Cadillac has something like this. It's more just thin material, really, just kind of whatever. But while a normal rad support is usually filled in, something like that. So I drew out kind of what you're going to do, and where the pencil is where you're going to cut out, and where the blue is you're going to fold, and I'm going to show you that. And yes, these angles are on there for a reason, but I'll get this all cut out and I'll show you what I mean. So I got it all cut out. Normally I do the center rad support where the rad goes first, but this is just paper, so as a demonstration. So you're going to want to bend this backwards. Actually, before we get too far, I forgot to mention, you're going to want from that blue line to fit in your fender or be the height of a rad support. So this one would work for a caddy, but it's not accurate to it. So I'll show you what I mean by folding it, and then I'll get started on doing that. So here we go. As you can see, it's paper, so it's not really staying, but you kind of get the point. So this would fit in here. See, it fits in the fender. Now, depending on what car and how tall your fenders are, there's a lot of variables to making these, so they're not all totally generic, but there we go. Now with a caddy, we don't have rad supports like this. We got more of like a frame design, like I showed you earlier, something like this. So I'll be making one of those for this. So I just folded over aluminum a couple times, I think 2 or 3 times. It's flexible. So I'm going to start at the bottom. I'm going to connect it at the bottom, so the top is solid. So I'll go from halfway here, up, around, over, around, and get back to the middle. So I'll show you when that's all done. So as you can see, it's not perfect, but I have another idea of what I'm gonna do. Since I didn't do it quite long enough, instead I'm gonna cut it down here, and then I'm going to just do a square here, or just do down here, over, up, and I'll do that here. So I just didn't cut it long enough, so it happens. Stuff doesn't always go as planned, so just got to improvise a little bit and should be okay. So got the rad support done. It's not the prettiest, but it'll work. So these are actually skewed slightly, which this one's not yet. They lean back actually, so I'm gonna have to skew this back slightly, but that's all you really got to do to skew it. But all you're gonna do is, normally I'll do glue top and bottom and along the side. Now this car with a huge hole there, I'm not gonna do it on the side, just top and bottom. So I'll show you it installed in the car. So there it is, it's in there. It's skewed back a little bit too much. I'm actually not sure. I'm gonna have to look at my reference pictures. So yeah, that's fun. So as for speaker decks, all your rear firewalls or packing tray, whatever you want to call it. Usually I just do 2 circles unless I have reference pictures of the car. Like a Vic, I'll do the 3, like the 2 speakers, and then they have one like smaller hole kind of in the center. Or it's not smaller, but it's there. It's kind of in the center. This car, I have reference pictures somewhere, so I'll probably just take a quick look at it. The fronts, I normally don't do much unless it's a Vic. I do the triangles. But these caddies are flat, or there's no holes on the front of them. So usually if I don't have a tank protector in here, I will glue it to this packing tray part where the humps go into the floor. I'll glue that, like say if this was on this side, I would glue it here. But I have a pretty decent tank protector in there, and it's right up against, so I might be able to slide it in, but I doubt it. So I'm not even going to bother trying. I'm just going to put it on the edges right there and there instead of in the center. This will hold it anyway. So all you're going to want to do is measure from there to there. Cut out, or you're going to measure from there to there. Bend it kind of like not 90 degrees, but almost 90 degrees. And just stick it in there, really. You're going to have to cut holes for these. If you want it dished, you're going to have to make it a little long. This car, I might measure kind of on this, where it should be. Cut it to the length and do that and dish it down, because these did get pulled in. As you can see, the back quarters got pulled in, which pull in the back pillars. So we'll see. I'll show you kind of what I'm going to do here. And yeah, that's the next step, really. So just kind of as an example, see, I kind of have a reference picture of this. I do have more reference pictures on the phone I'm recording with, but so yeah, I'll do a similar design to that, and you can kind of see how wide, how long it is, and it's really not that long. So it probably goes to here, like halfway through this window, if not, yeah, about halfway through that window. So I'll get working on that and show you the product of that. So this is kind of the rough idea. My scissors decided not to work very well, so those holes suck, and I'm just gonna say screw the other holes. So now you're just gonna have to make it fit in there, really. Since these pillars have been pulled in, this is gonna be dished, and I have to play with this a little bit, but I'll get it to fit in there. I might have to trim it down slightly, but that's okay. So yeah, I'll kind of show you guys how I glue it in once I kind of get it to fit right. So I kind of got it to fit. I'm going to dish it down. But from here, either you can get your glue gun underneath or on top. Sometimes I'll glue it down there, but I'm too lazy to take it back out. So normally I would glue it obviously down here, but the tank protector's in the way, so I'm just going to glue it on the top here and maybe underneath into the wheel well a little bit. But yeah, just glue it on top, both sides, and that should be good. And I'll dish it down. This side is closer to where it needs to be. This whole thing needs to be pushed that way, but when it gets dished, it'll go more down underneath this tank protector, because the tank protector does angle backwards, so it's keeping it back further. So when I get it lower, I can push it further forward and glue it in. So now I got it in there. There's some gap I had to fill with some glue, which I hate doing, but I had to do it. I had to glue down in there.